But probably honestly, probably the most embarrassing one was the hunter orange, because we actually had another hunter that was watching us from the road who actually came out I think he was so embarrassed for us that he came out and was like, "Hey, you need to take your hunter orange hat off, because that's not going to help your situation." That's how bad he felt for us. That's probably the most embarrassing one that I can think of.
Welcome to the Foul Front Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast, where our goal is to recruit and educate new hunters while entertaining the rest of you. Without new hunters and the mentorship of those more seasoned, this passion as we know it faces an uncertain future. So get the word out, turn the volume up, and enjoy the show, because you're on the Foul Front. All right, well today I've got Hunter from HTR Innovations. And how you doing today, Hunter?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. So it's Wednesday, and it's duck season, at least in the western part of the state for Kansas for me. So I can't ask for much more, other than maybe it being Saturday. So, so now, Hunter, you guys are from Indiana.
Correct. Yep.
Nice. And it's not duck season quite yet for you guys?
Nope. It starts actually this weekend, is opening weekend for us.
All right. Big plans?
Yep. Yes, we do. We have high hopes Saturday.
Awesome. You guys going?
We got a good plan going on. We've got a good little pond that's been loading up, so we're gonna scout a little bit more here in the next couple of days, and hopefully the weather's looking to be nasty. It looks like 20 to 30 mile an hour winds on Saturday, and it's going to be cold, rainy, so it's looking like it's going to be pretty ducky of a day.
Is that not the best? Those are my favorite. It is. That's my favorite weather to hunt in.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jordan, your cameraman, probably won't be as pleased with that weather, but
no, I'm gonna try to help him out and maybe get him off the camera a little bit so he can practice his gun shooting abilities this weekend as well. So
awesome.
Help him out there.
Awesome. So how long have you been hunting?
Oh boy. So I grew up hunting, ever since I was a kid. We're always grew up big deer hunters. And up until, I don't know, the last 7 years, then we started getting into turkey hunting. And then we had friends that were like, "Man, you really need to get into waterfowl. You guys would love it." Yeah. So we've always been deer guys. And then they kept bugging us. "You got to get into this. It's awesome. You got to keep doing this." So I think we've been waterfowl hunting for, I think it's been 5 or 6 years now, and we're hooked. It's definitely an addiction, that's for sure. Good addiction.
It's crazy. I remember when I was growing up, we would go out once or twice every now and then, and I had buddies and friends and guys that I went to school with. They were just ate up with waterfowl hunting. I said, that's a lot of work for a couple birds.
Right.
When I go out, I want to take something big that fills the freezer,
Right, exactly.
Boy, was I wrong.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's amazing what what a man will do for one duck.
What was your first duck? Or goose, I guess?
Oh, man. So the first year we hunted, we had it all wrong. We messed up in so many ways. That was a huge learning curve the first year. It took us all year. We probably hunted a dozen times, and we finally, at the end of the season, shot our first goose. And, I mean, it was terrorizing for that goose because we laid a lot of steel into that thing to finally get him down. But we mounted that thing, and that thing is still up right now. Never forget that. That would have been the first year. Laying in a field. I think there was 4 of us, and it was a long season for one goose.
Yeah. Now, how old a guy are you, Hunter?
I'm 29, so that would have been, 23, 24?
Nice. Yes, we got into it about the same time frame.
Okay.
Now you have and us guys that kind of get into it late. We're not late in life here, but we both kind of have that shared. It's kind of a strange story, right? Getting into something when you're an adult, but you have an even more unique, I think, experience is that you and your dad got into it at the same time, right?
Right, correct. Yeah, it was actually one of his good friends has been a hardcore waterfowler for many years, and he was the one that pushed him. And so we like to tag team a lot of things. So he said, "Come on, we got to do this." And so we kind of got into it together and been learning along the way, and kind of been growing our love for it. It seems like a little bit more each year.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that's like. I mean, I'm getting my dad into waterfowl as well, and it's always funny when sometimes I don't know if you're a Star Wars guy, but the Jedi becomes the Padawan, or the Master becomes the pupil. But I know what it's like when me and my dad try to build something in the garage together real quick for my mom. I can't imagine what it is like working with your dad every day.
Yeah.
How is that?
It's great. I can't ask for a better boss. It's great. We have a good working relationship. We seem to keep it balanced pretty well. We both understand each other and know when we're starting to get under each other's skin, and so we kind of know when to separate, I guess. So we both have a good feel on that. So it works out pretty well. But it seems like when we get out hunting, I think we both kind of act like kids for the most part. It's definitely a lot different than the work environment per se.
Nice.
But yeah, it works out well for us. I know it doesn't. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way for everybody, but for us, it works out pretty good.
Yeah. I'm sure. I don't think that me and my dad could work together, just because we both. I think we would both make the exact same mistakes and then try to blame one another for. But at any rate, so let's back this up a little bit. So you guys, your first season, how many times did you guys go out before you got that goose?
Oh man, I think we went out a dozen times, maybe more.
Cutting your teeth all by your guys' selves?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the guy who got us into it, he lived in southern Indiana, so he came up for one hunt with us to pretty much tell us everything that we did wrong. But yeah, he was like, we had a couple places through relatives that were just loaded up with geese. We just didn't know how to hunt them. The first time we hunted them was actually in our relative's yard, just a nice decorative pond that he mowed around. There's no cover at all. And us not knowing anything, we bought these brand new layout blinds and set them out right in the middle of the grass. No decoys, no nothing. Just sticking out like sore thumbs. And these geese had been hitting this pond every day like clockwork. And they came in and 60 yards came and they just got out of there. I mean, they knew something was wrong. And that was the beginning of our journey of us thinking, what in the world did we do wrong? We were thinking geese were kind of like turkeys, where if you just sit still enough and they can't see you, then they don't care. And that was clearly incorrect judgment by us.
Good lesson learned, though.
Yeah, one of many. Yeah. So yeah, we went out talking to people, doing research, just kind of learning. I think I want to say it was 12 or 15 times that we had went out, whether the two of us or three of us, or we just pull other people that, hey, you want to go out with us and try to shoot these things? And sure, why not? And time after time after time, skunk after skunk after skunk. And one time I remember going out there and I was wearing, just me thinking hunter safety, wearing my hunter orange hat in the blind with me. And that definitely helped to flare the birds pretty well.
Yeah.
And so just dumb beginner mistakes after dumb beginner mistakes. We probably had more of them than most because we didn't have a whole lot of help in it. So we were just learning every single time we went out, something new.
Absolutely.
And so it was a hard fought year for sure.
It says a lot about you guys to get after it 15, 20 times in a season, and not pulling one until the end there. I don't know what it says about you, but it says a lot.
Resilience, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Resilience.
Okay, so how'd you end up? You just end up learning lesson after lesson of field. Did you use anything to kind of help that learning curve along, or?
Boy, like one of the main things we learned is ammo. I mean, it helped us with ammo selection. It helped us with just the basics of just sighting in your gun or patterning your gun, more or less. Neither of us had done that. We just, I guess, took for granted that we both thought we were good shots, and that really wasn't the case for that. So I guess a lot of it just got back to the basics of, patterning your gun and using the right ammo and having the right gear. And, I guess that was using the foundations, to our advantage, I guess, to build on for the next year.
So besides the hunter orange hat and throwing the layout blinds on the yard, as it were, knowing what you know now, looking back, what would you say was probably your funniest or your guys' biggest mistake, or something like a big aha moment for you?
Boy, there were so many little like aha moments. Just even with setup, how we'd set up on the wrong wind. We didn't even know which way the geese were supposed to come in. We thought that they were going to come in with wind. But probably probably the most embarrassing one was the hunter orange, because we actually had another hunter that was watching us from the road who actually came out I think he was so embarrassed for us that he came out and was like, "Hey, you need to take your hunter orange hat off, because that's not going to help your situation." That's how bad he felt for us. That's probably the most embarrassing one that I can think of.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That he came into your spread to tell you that. That's good. So.
Yeah. He knew we needed help.
That's awesome. This week's episode is brought to you by the following partners. Hunt Hickory Creek. New to Hunt Hickory Creek this year is their Central Kansas Lodge. They're going to be running hunters from the end of October all the way through January, and they're situated right between Quivira and Cheyenne Bottoms, which combined can hold hundreds of thousands of birds at a time. And these guys are going to work their tails off. You got Chase, you got Cody, you got Scotty, and then you've even got Megan in there taking pictures. Guys, if you're going to be traveling outside of your state and you're going to pay for a guide service, don't roll the dice. Come into our Facebook group, pick Chase or Scotty or Cody's brain, figure out who they are, and make sure that you're going to be booking a hunt with them, because they're not just awesome guides, they're great people. They're going to show you a great time. So, if you're going to hunt Kansas, hunt Hickory Creek. We're also brought to you by Dive Bomb Industries, the fastest growing, most affordable decoys on the market with unmatched customer service. Now, you can find them on Facebook, Instagram, or DiveBombIndustries.com, and you can find Asher in our listeners group and get yourself into a large, effective, affordable, and easy to set up spread. It takes about a minute to set about a dozen, and they take up no space in the garage or truck. They're tough, extremely realistic, and go get yourself twice the decoys, half the price, none of the hassle. Also brought to you by Toe Tags LLC. Now, federal migratory game bird laws apply in all 50 states. That includes yours, which includes gifting and tagging laws. Make sure to keep your birds separated and or tagged when transporting or storing them with other hunters' birds. Now, this includes from the field to home as well. Gifting in the field, though commonly done, never legal. It must be done at the donor or donie's personal abode. Hey, for other helpful hints and to keep yourself legal, go check Toe Tags LLC out on Facebook, or you can hit up Ryan in our Facebook group, or you can head on over to toetagsllc.com. So have fun, be safe, and keep it legal. We're also brought to you by Athlon Optics, which produce some of the finest shooting scopes and binoculars on the market. Their ED glass is top-notch and rivals the glass of binos 3 or 4 times their price. You're going to be able to pick a goose out in an impression from half a mile with these things. I'm telling you, they're tough, sturdy, and this is where Athlon Optics goes above and beyond with their lifetime warranty. which is critical for us waterfowl hunters. I sport the Midas 10x42, and I'm extremely pleased with them. So head on over to Athlon Optics and get yourself a top-of-the-line binocular system for this season at a fraction of the price and a no-worries warranty. We're also brought to you by Freelance Hunt Stats, and I got to tell you, I'm really excited to be using Freelance Hunt Stats this year. If you've never logged your hunts in the past, start doing it, especially with freelancehuntstats.com, because it's not just a journal. This thing can catalog all of your information, and you can go back, you can look at like how you do on sunny days. It's going to be a game changer for you. So head on over to freelancehuntstats.com and start logging your hunts this season. We're also brought to you by Duck Nuts, and now I've been fighting duck decoy rigging systems since I started. Wrapping, coiling, Texas rigs, talk about a pain in the butt. Now, I work hard, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the morning it's time to go home, and Duck Nuts allows me to do that so that I can rig my decoys that all I got to do is throw them in a bag. And with our friction system, it's too easy to just pull the line and pack it up or just throw them out. It allows you to adjust for depth, and if you're tired of fighting your decoy rigs, head on over to ducknuts.com and use your 10% off code with Foul Front discount code. We're also brought to you by Gypsum Creek. Now, Gypsum Creek is a full-service gun dog training facility in the heart of the Midwest, and they are looking to build eager, confident, and reliable field companions through a unique approach that you don't find at many other places. So come check out Gypsum Creek Retrievers on their Facebook or Instagram, or you can hit up Evan, the owner, in our Facebook group. And I promise you, this guy loves your dog more than you do, and loves teaching him how to retrieve more than you do. I got to spend a weekend out with them, and it was an awesome time, I'm telling you. What they got going on over there, that's where you're going to want to send your dog. All right, we're also brought to you by the DuckTech mobile app. Increase your odds of success in the blind this year with the DuckTech mobile app. 3-time world duck calling champion Barney Califf teaches you how to make the most important duck sounds and what they mean to a duck and when to use them, the most important part. DuckTech is also available to download on the App Store and Google Play. With the season approaching, get the app today so you can put more ducks on the strap tomorrow. We're also brought to you by SRB Field Rests. No matter what, where, or how you hunt, SRB Field Rests got you covered. They're going to keep your shotgun, rifle, or your bow, or your crossbow safe, clean, and ready for in the field or on the range. Waterfowl hunters in a dry field, a muddy field, marshes, flooded fields, or flooded timber. SRB Field Rests has you covered. Go check them out. They've got a 10% discount code for you with Foul Front, all undercase, one word. We are also brought to you by Gunner Kennels, the market's only double-wall, roto-molded dog crate and 5-star crash-tested rated kennel. These American-made boxes come with a lifetime warranty, and the guys over at Gunner Kennels have done some crazy stuff to show you how strong they really are, like dropping 4,000 pounds on it, hammering it with a 630-pound sled, and tossing it off a 200-foot cliff and shooting it with a 12-gauge shotgun with 0 bullet penetration. You're hitting the road with your dog this season. Gunner Kennels is your safest bet. Protecting your best friend and your investment. So head on over to gunnerkennels.com. We're also brought to you by HTR Innovations, and you have not heard of them yet, but I am hunting out of their A-frame this year, and they have one of the slickest inventions I've seen for waterfowl hunting. It's an awesome little gun stand for the marsh, and go check them out at htrinnovations.com. Also, here's another big thing for you. Do you absolutely hate laying in your layout blind? Well, they got something for you. So go check them out. And our good buddy Jordan over there, he's going to be doing all their filming this year. Looking forward to seeing what they got. Okay, let's get back into this week's episode. Well, okay, so, year one is down. How did you get to this point then? What did year 2, 3 look like? And then I guess let's jump right into how HTR Innovations got started.
Yeah, so the second year I was finishing up college. So actually this is probably back a little bit farther because my second year I was in senior year of college. So we might have been 7-8 years actually. But what happened was a guy that I actually lived right next to in our apartment complex, he was a big time waterfowler, and we just happened to come across each other in the parking lot one day and started talking about hunting. And he was like, "Man, you need to come with us." And he'd been doing this for years. And he had his whole decoy trailer full. He knew what he was doing. And he actually at college took me out hunting with him. And I learned a ton about how to set up and brushing your blind in and what ammo to use and what to look for and how to scout. I mean, the year 2 for us was a big learning curve to really understand how to hunt them, and kind of took that and took those experiences, Dad and I, and really built a whole lot of knowledge that second year, and watching videos and talking to people and just learning. That was, I guess, the year that we realized, holy cow, we were doing it all wrong. We really didn't know anything. And we had a whole lot more success going with him. Number of times we'd shoot a 3, 4, 5-man limit because the area we hunted was a really good populated area of resident birds. And from that point on, it was kind of like, okay, this is how you hunt them. This is what we need. Here's the gear you need. This is how you set up your spread. And so from that point on, we kind of built onto it, I think. And then year after year, it was kind of like the aha moments weren't nearly as drastic per se. Like, oh, we set up on the wrong wind direction, or maybe a little bit different decoy spread, or just the little things, not like the big whoopsies per se. And then from that point on, just kind of building areas to hunt and learning how to hunt them from that point forward, and kind of building. We do a lot of private land hunting. The area the type of work that we deal with a lot of farmers, which is very beneficial for building relationships and earning spots to hunt.
I'd say so.
So over the course of those last years, we've just kind of built, one spot after another, and kind of had a whole arsenal of spots that we can kind of pick from and hunt and learn how the birds use them in different times and why they're using these areas, and just kind of year after year, just kind of learning and getting better for your understanding of how to hunt them. And I mean, I think you can know everything and still you're going to come up short sometimes.
I kind of have this theory that you learn most of what you're going to learn about waterfowl hunting in the first 2 or 3 years, and everything after that is just kind of building on, or refining, kind of that waterfowl boot camp. And I think your story, talking about learning all these hard lessons, and just you and your dad going out there cutting your teeth, and other hunters coming up to tell you, hey, you can take your orange hat off. I think oftentimes when we're on public land, we're so quick to be like, oh, what an a-hole, that guy over there. Like, right. Oh, look at this. Didn't anybody teach them anything? No, they probably didn't. They're out there learning. Right. And I mean, would you ever take your story any other direction? Looking back at all those, I guess not failed hunts, but hunts where you guys learned something, you and your dad together, like, that's part of the journey.
Right.
And, it just speaks to a little bit like, that learning curve or that learning time frame is, it's an important part in a waterfowler's journey, and lest we be a little too quick to judge somebody on those actions. So
yeah, I have to agree, because we've from what we've learned, it's enjoyable to take somebody who doesn't have maybe the opportunities or the resources or even the knowledge, and to take them out and on a good hunt and see how they enjoy it, and watch how much fun it is. And it's so much more enjoyable than strutting your knowledge around and trying to act like you're the boss of waterfowl. And I think it's more fun to get those guys that don't normally do it or know how to do it. And it's fun to work together, and you learn as you go. And yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah,
agree with you there.
Absolutely. Okay, enter HTR Innovations.
Oh boy, HTR Innovations. It's been a lot of work, a lot of headache, a lot of frustrations, but I think we're starting to get somewhere finally. This has stemmed over the years, really for about the last 3 years. We've just been, I guess, trying to figure out. There's always problems that you run across, and trying to figure out solutions for different problems. And all three of our products that we've come out with are all based on a problem that we've come across multiple times, that it's like, man, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to do this. And so just kind of brainstorming.
Okay, so what's your guys' day jobs?
So our day jobs is we're licensed water well drilling contractors in Indiana and Michigan. So we drill wells and install pumps for a lot of agricultural or farming, irrigation, and for municipalities and some industrial contractors as well. That's what we do on a day-to-day basis. That's what really makes us, I guess, puts food on our table.
Right. And so I imagine along with those jobs comes some handy skills, and maybe a little bit ideology or thinking behind, instead of just going out and looking for a product to buy, finding like, hey, I don't like this part about hunting. So you just, you head to the shop or what, Yeah.
So we have a shop here, and we do a lot of, we have just about anything you want here, from welders to cutters, and we do a lot of little fabrication. We like to do all of our own fabrication, shop work here. If something needs to be fixed or made, we like to do it in-house if we can, or figure out a way to do it. So we're all pretty hands-on, and so yeah, that was kind of the idea is, well, let's take this to the shop and kind of play around with some material we got and work up some ideas and see what we can come up with. And that's kind of how it all began.
Okay, and so what was the first product that you guys came out with?
So the first product we came out with was actually the concept of the A-frame. And one of the good public spots around here on the river, we loved hunting that spot. It's been a good spot, and we hunt out of a little 14-foot John boat. Well, where we hunt, where all the birds go, there's no cover, and we're like, well, we got to make something for this boat. We got to figure out something for this boat that we can just anchor this boat out, tie it up, and hunt out of it. And so at that time, there really wasn't. Now they make some more options for boats, but there really wasn't much out there. And so we're like, well, let's start playing around, and what do we want to make out of this? So we kind of drew up some handmade plans and got some real cheap steel and some flimsy steel and started welding some stuff together and cutting and bolting and made up some chintzy little A-frame and put it on the boat. And we're like, well, that's great, but great for us, but this isn't going to hold up. So then we started brainstorming and thinking, well, maybe we can make this better. And then, well, maybe let's not just limit this to boats, but a lot of the water we hunted was, knee deep or ankle deep water. And so, well, let's make our own, let's bring our own cover with us, was kind of the idea. Instead of going to the cover, let's bring it with us. And so then we started thinking, maybe we can make this A-frame portable. And so that stemmed to a little bit more research and development, and we started getting a design down that we liked and playing with it, and kind of got a good base design that we really liked. that was quick and easy to use, and that we liked the strength of it in steel. But the problem is when you put it in water, everybody knows steel rusts, and we didn't like that. And so then that's when we started thinking we need to make this out of aluminum so we don't have to deal with that. And so over the last, that took probably about a year and a half to kind of get that dialed in to where we liked it. And we used it, and how we used it was with camo netting or the grass kits that you can buy. Yeah. We just grass it and strap it in there with zip ties and whatnot. That's how we made our cover. Hey, we'll just bring this A-frame and bring a bunch of netting, and we'll go grab cover. And so that way we can hunt in the middle, of a marshy area and get closer to the birds. And so that's kind of where that stemmed from. And then we kind of built on that and said, hey, maybe we can make a cover for this. And so that took a while as well. And finally we got a cover made, and then now we've been using that product for about 2.5, 3 years now, field trialing it, testing it out, getting it to where we like it. And I think we got it pretty much dialed in, and we've had some great success on it. And it's been a good product for us. And so that's,
I've got one set up in my backyard right now. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I put it all together. It took me about 5 minutes for the first time, which is saying something about, the product. I'm not that handy. But yeah, set it up, and my wife came out and she looked at it and she said, is it supposed to be a pile of corn? And I said, yep, there you go. Absolutely. So, but yeah, no, it's nice. It's spacious. What fits about, three or probably fit 4 in there.
Yeah, we've hunted 4 out of it. It's 3. People ask, it's 3 comfortably, but depending on the size, if you're hunting with kids or you got a bunch of skinny hunters, we've definitely fit 4 in there. But it can get a little cramped depending on size. So we like to say 3 comfortably, and 4 if you want to get crazy. So
right.
But yeah, I guess the idea behind that was something that sets up in a matter of a couple minutes and tears down in a matter of minutes. And we've always been, even with everything that we buy for our main job, is we like to push the Made in America, a quality product. And so nowadays, and maybe that will change now, but for years it's been nothing but made in China. So
that can be a tough thing for a business to. I mean, I think people, when they hear, oh, we do only Made in America and stuff like that, I don't think they fully grasp the kind of hit almost that takes with pricing and stuff like that. So
right, yeah, it's definitely harder to compete. It's harder to stay on that same price level because there's a lot of other things out there that you can get for a lot cheaper. And so I guess behind this whole business, we've always wanted to push a quality Made in America product that we're going to stand by, and we're going to back it with customer service. And if there's something wrong, we're going to stand by that. And if we have to eat it and send out replacement products, then that's what we're going to do. And so I guess that's been one major backbone when starting our business and I guess designing our products is, man, we want these things to last. If you're going to pay a good price, we want them to last. Right. And we all know that waterfowling, this sport, is very expensive. So why not buy something that's going to last you a long time instead of buying something cheap that's going to break in a few years? So
yeah, I'm not really in a position where I can, buy an A-frame every 2 or 3 years.
Right.
So
right.
It's appreciated.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so and then what was the next product?
So the next product stemmed off of that actually was our gun stand, and that was when we get this A-frame set up and we're sitting in 2-3 foot of water. Where do we put our guns? And so we're like, well, maybe we can make some kind of rack that just hangs on this A-frame, and just we assemble our blind and hang the rack on the A-frame so we can sit our guns on it. And so we kind of played with that idea, and then that idea kind of stemmed to, well, let's not limit it to just holding on from the A-frame, but let's make something that stands alone. Because we don't really hunt in a lot of we don't have much timber, flooded timber around here. We have a lot of either marshy ponds or we'll hunt a lot of fingers in the river where it might be ankle deep water or 2 foot of water, and there's a lot of tall grass on each side of the water, which is perfect you could just stand in it, and it might be damp, so you don't really can't set your gun on the ground. You don't want to really set your blind bag on the ground, because then it's just going to get full of water or muddy. So we're like, man, there's got to be a way to get these things off the ground. And so that's kind of what stemmed the idea of the gun stand. And hey, let's make a stand that we can just stick in the mud, and that will balance itself, hold itself, be sturdy, and hold a gun and hold your buddy's gun, because a lot of times you're hunting with somebody else, and if you're not, well, hey, we're going to make something that you can put your blind bag over and dangle it on from the top, or you can set a box of shells in there or put your lanyard on it, something to kind of get that stuff off the ground. And so that's where that idea developed from. And we had already had the idea of, let's put it in aluminum and so it won't rust, and powder coat it, and so then here we are. And that's actually probably one of our favorite products. We use that thing everywhere.
I was going to say, I've already used mine twice, and that's a game changer. I don't even bring the sling anymore. I brought the sling for my gun at first.
Yep.
Thinking, okay, yeah, I might need it, later. But that thing is rock solid. I was a little leery at first when I put it in there and I put the gun on it. I was like, I kept checking on the gun, but after a while I was like, nope, that thing ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's a great addition, especially if you're just standing in the cattails or something, so you're not holding on to that gun the whole time. It's definitely nice. It makes your hunt a little bit more enjoyable and a little bit more relaxing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Not having to hold your gun the whole time and or be worried about balancing it or passing it off to your buddy. And I've rigged it up so that's where my recorder goes when I'm recording out. I got a little screw-in piece that attaches to the base of the pole there. So
we've
trying to figure that out. So
we've done the same thing with the GoPros. We put the sticky attachment on there, and you can put your GoPro right on the front of the stick there and film and face it out or face it at you. And we've got some good footage with that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So I think I saw Matt from High Prairie Sportsman. He was using those using one out in the sandhills too. So
yeah. He appreciated it. He had nothing but good things to say about it. So we're glad it's working out.
Yeah. And so did the A-frame was first. What's the time span in between these two things?
Well, the A-frame was first, and that it took us probably the longest to kind of get our ideas actually out there and done and fabricated. Once we got that done, we probably, like I said, it probably took us a year and a half, but probably towards the end of that year and a half, we kind of already had the idea of the gun stand going on, and that probably took us half that time, maybe a half of a year, to kind of get that thing. We had that thing pretty much dialed in from the beginning. And now that we'd already been through the process and worked with some we actually have a fabricator here right next door to us that helps us out, a welding shop. And so they help us out with this stuff as well. And we did that in about 6 months or so. And then our last product actually stemmed probably another year later. We were out hunting during conservation snow goose hunt in Missouri with an outfitter, And this was our first time ever going on a conservation hunt. We didn't really know what to expect. They said we were going to be hunting out of layout blinds and rice fields and cornfields and whatnot, and just bring warm clothes because of the time of year. And so we get out there, and day one, it is raining like crazy, and it's cold, and this field's flooded, and they got the layout blinds in the flooded fields. And so you get in your blind, and there's like 2-3 inches of water in this blind. And we're like, well, does anybody have an extra pair of waders? Because none of us brought waders. So that was a cold first morning, and that whole week was a very cold week for us. I think out of the 5 of us, only 2 of us held up from buying waders down there. And that week we were thinking, man, there's got to be a way to get out of this rain and this when you're sitting in a field that's flooded. And that's when we thought, man, there's got to be a pad. Maybe we can make a pad that makes this not only out of the water and waterproof, but secondly, more comfortable, because we're sitting out there for 5-6 hours at a time, and unless you got a very nice layout blind, most of them are not comfortable. Your back starts hurting and your neck starts getting sore, and it's not the most enjoyable lay for 4 or 5 hours at a time. So that's what stemmed our last product, which was what we called the Layout Lounge. And just getting a pad made. It actually floats in water. It's not approved floating device, but we've pondered getting that approved.
But it'll work in a pinch, is what you're saying.
It will definitely work in a pinch, yeah. And so that was our final product, and we thought, well, let's not limit it to sticking in blinds, but if someone wants to use these, because we have a lot of dairy farmers up here, and we hunt out of silage fields, which silage fields don't have much cover. You probably don't have much silage fields out there, do you?
Up in Nebraska, I know they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the silage fields, they don't have much cover, as well as they'll turn them over and plant a cover crop. And the cover crop, the geese love the cover crops, and there's just no cover. So the only way to hunt them is just get as low of a profile as you can. And we thought, man, if we can just make a blanket to go with these, and we could hunt out of them and use them as their own layout blind, that would be perfect. And that's what we did. And we love it. We love the dual purpose of buying it to put in a layout blind. It'll fit in any layout blind. We've used them on a lot of layout blinds, and they fit in every single one of them. Even the power hunters, they make those a little bit more enjoyable. But to be able to take them out with a blanket and hunt on their own, it makes that product really versatile.
Yeah, I think there was a day when I laid out for, sun up to sundown, and the next week I couldn't figure out. I was like, man, why is my shoulder hurt? And it's because I was always propping my shoulder back, so to give my neck a little break, or my elbow back to give my neck a little break, and so I saw that, I got one of those out in the garage right now, and threw it in there. I was like, this is gonna work for me. So
yeah.
I like being comfortable. So
yeah, it definitely helps on those long hunts.
Yeah, and actually I threw it, and I got a little 8-foot John boat that I try to rig up as my layout boat, and works perfect in there too. So
yeah, we've used them out of. We got a couple of those little, what do you call them? They're like the little duck kayaks that we put them in there, and they're nice. They work perfect.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, all right, tell us a little bit about, so it's you, your dad, and now you got Jordan from the Duck Gun podcast on your team. Is there anybody else?
Us three are the only ones actually officially working HTR. Got one or two guys that are helping us out. Good friends of ours that are kind of know people in the industry and trying to make connections for us. But officially on the dollar, we're the only three that are working for HTR right now.
Awesome. And what's HTR headquarters? What does that look like?
Well, it's actually built into our shop here. So we've kind of everything is in one. It's a one-stop shop here. So we have basically a loft above our office that we stock all of our inventory. We have a little desk up there and all of our own tools that if we need to crimp connections and tighten bolts and get stuff ready for shipping, that's where everything goes up there. And then we have our own saws out in the shop, diamond blade saws that we cut all the aluminum here. And so we have welders and everything. So it's all mixed in to the same shop. We have a pretty big shop here. And so it works out that we can kind of keep our own corner for HDR as well as have our own space for what we do at our day job.
Nice. Excellent. All right. So you already spoke a little bit about your plans for this upcoming weekend. But, so are you primarily just, you said you hunted down in, you said Arkansas, right?
Missouri.
Missouri.
Yep.
So you've hunted down in Missouri. Have you been anywhere else?
Yeah. Last year I went with two guys for my first time. They go out almost every year. We went out to North Dakota and we hunted. That was I think the first week of November is when we went. Maybe the last week October, first week of November we went out there, and that was a blast. We got there actually. We hunted for 4 days, and we got there as a cold front hit, and by the end of the fourth day, everything was froze up. So the last day and a half was tough hunting, but the first 2.5 days was a blast. I mean, the migration was in full force, and we limited out the first 2 mornings. We limited out in less than an hour. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was just
almost too good, having those limits go too quick. You're like, oh, I guess I got a long time to nap now. But
it was completely different from what we have here. I mean, we don't have it in Indiana like you guys do out west. We don't have the migration. We don't see the migration like you guys do. We see it a lot smaller scale. So
yeah, paint me a little picture about Indiana.
So our area, we have a pretty good migration river, a pretty big river, St. Joe River, and that's pretty much what puts our area on the map. That's a good little, I guess, a lot of birds follow that river.
Okay.
Years ago, we had the Kankakee River, which was, I think it was like top 4 or 5 in the nation. It was, I think 30 years ago, it was one of the main flyways. And then over these last 30 years, it's just all turned into farmland. And it's not what it used to be. And it's kind of changed the dynamics and the migration patterns. And we don't get the mass amount of migration, but we have a really good local population. So for that first month, I mean, you can hunt local birds nonstop. And so thankfully we got the St. Joe River. That kind of puts us on the map here. But, so we hunt a lot of local birds, and then later in the season we'll get small waves, but we're not seeing anything like you guys do we're not seeing thousands of birds in the air. That's just not
right.
what we're seeing. We might see.
I don't see that either. No, just kidding.
I mean, if we're lucky if we see a few hundred in the air. So we're hunting a lot smaller group. But
now you guys primarily hunt Canada geese, right?
Yeah, we hunt a lot of Canada geese. Yep.
What do you get for ducks? What do you see a lot?
We're primarily mallards. We get some teal. Primarily mallards. We'll get some wood ducks. The occasional pintail for lucky. The occasional gadwall for lucky. Occasional spoonbill for lucky. But that's it. I mean, we're loaded up with mallards.
Well, that's a nice problem to have.
It is. Yeah. It's sad when you look to hunt other birds beside mallards, you know?
Yeah, I would say that's for me. I'm always on the lookout for mallards. And I shoot a lot of widgeon, gadwall, ringnecks, and I think last season in Oklahoma, my whole group, maybe 20, 25 mallards.
Wow.
For the whole season. So, a lot of widgeon though.
Yeah. Yeah. See, we don't get much widgeon out here.
It's interesting.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I always hear people talking about, I gotta go hunt a widgeon, and all that, and I'm thinking, oh man, I want to shoot some green.
Yeah, I think the prized possession for everybody out here would be that pintail. To get the pintail, everybody wants the pintail.
Yeah, I'd say over here as well.
Okay. Yep.
Awesome. So, what are the plans for this season? You got Jordan going to be running a camera for you.
Yep.
We expect to see some decent footage out of him, or what's going on?
Yeah, we're hoping so. He's still trying to learn these things. But we are, this is actually going to be the first year we're really pushing promotion. We've started up an Instagram page. We started up a Facebook page and started up a YouTube page. We're going to be filming all of our hunts this year, at least trying to film all of our hunts, because we've been hunting with these things for 3 years now. And everybody might hear us say that they're great, but people want to see that they're great. So that's what we're going to try to do, is just kind of catch some film of how we hunt and see if we can draw some attention and build a little bit of a clientele, I guess, and see where it goes.
Absolutely. Just mainly sticking around Indiana?
Yeah, I mean, right now we don't have any set plans as a group to get out anywhere. I think we all would like to next year, but as of right now, I don't see any plans except for we got a lot of private spots that we're going to try to cover. So, and with the weather that we're getting right now, I mean, I think hopes are high because it's been very cold for an October here.
Yeah, cold and wet.
Yeah.
You guys getting a good amount of rain up there too?
We've gotten a decent amount. Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. And now, how many days a week would you say you guys go out?
Oh man, I think we're the kind of guy, we're blessed that we get to, with our job, we're flexible to hunt. Our hours are flexible, so we'll get the opportunity to hunt more during the week. I mean, I think we try to get out, if we can get out 2 times during the week, and then on Saturdays, then 3 times a week is our goal to get out.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's getting out there.
Yeah.
For a lot of guys. So.
Yeah. Right.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, any big plans for the future here? What should we be looking for next?
Oh man, we're always trying to figure out ways to improve, and I know that there's still ways to improve on our products and tweaks and maybe revisions or updates or maybe a new model. So I know we have some more camo patterns that we're going to be coming out with.
Oh yeah, that's actually one thing we haven't covered yet.
Yeah, so we make we originally just came up with just a plain tan and just an earth tone color, which I think will be pretty popular. It sounds like that's the for the guys that are hardcore and they know what they're going to do when they get them out of the boxes, they're just going to stick them in the mud and they're going to brush them in anyways.
Yeah.
But we've come out with a corn pattern, in a October grass pattern. And we actually just put an order in. We just made a winter pattern, and it's not just going to be an all white cover. It's going to have a little bit of some corn stubble characteristics built into it. It's going to be really unique. I think we're really excited to see that.
Now you guys came up with these, right?
Yeah, correct. These are all our own designs. They're not licensed by any way. These are all made up by us. So we originally, when we started, we bought our first roll of fabric and we saw how expensive it was to buy a licensed fabric. We said this, not only are we trying to make products made in America, and that sets the bar higher, but we can't afford the price of fabric buying it through license. And then they make you do, a licensing agreement, and you pay so much money. And we said, forget that. We're doing everything else ourselves. Let's just figure out how to make our own camel fabric. And so we made a lot of calls. That was actually one of the hardest things, is finding the right connections to make these camel patterns. There was a lot of trial and errors and scaling and blending going on here, but we made it work. We think we figured it out finally, and so yeah, we got those three. Well, the tan and then the corn and the grass, and then we're going to be rolling out a snow corn cover that I think's probably going to be here sometime in the middle of November. And once that's here, we're going to be putting that online and trying to promote that and getting it out there. So,
yeah, what is it? Is it not denier? Yeah, denier 600 or
900 denier. So yeah, the standard on a lot of the layout blinds are 600 denier.
Uh-huh.
And we decided to go with 900 just to give it that little extra durability. It's a little tighter, a little bit thicker.
Yeah, a little overbuild.
Yep, exactly.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. You're talking about mud and blinds and stuff, and I found I hate dealing with mud and it's sticking on your hands or getting the truck dirty and whatnot. I usually just take some brown flat spray paint and just give it like a good dusting,
Mm-hmm.
And that usually knocks the shine off pretty good.
Yep.
So, well, if you guys ever want to get out to Kansas, just let me know. And I know you got you talked to Elliot too, Jordan's co-host. Yeah, get you guys out here and get in the Central Flyway. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we definitely would like to do that.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have. So I made like a homemade A-frame the last couple years, and I'm excited to finally have something I can put a heater in. Those other two, if I would have put a heater in them, probably would have gone up in flames pretty quick. So
that's something we haven't done. So you'll have to let us know how that works.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm getting to the point where I like sucking it up out there, but if I can throw a heater in something, I'll be sitting all right. That might convince my wife to get out too. So
yeah,
with this early cold October, we've already exceeded the temperature threshold for which she would be willing to participate. So
yeah, we'll have to get you out here to Indiana too, and we can show you the ropes of Indiana, show you the more farmland, and get you out here too.
Speaking of wives and stuff, what's the family think of you guys going all hard in on this?
They're pretty good. My wife's pretty. When we got married, she kind of knew what she was getting into, so she's pretty supportive of it. Thankfully, she doesn't give me too much of a hard time. I think they're both. It's kind of been it's been a long process. Starting a business from scratch and a lot of trial and error. A lot of long nights. Working into the evening, into the night, trying to figure out how to make things better and ideas and whatnot. I think they're all on the same page as us. We just need to get this thing going. We need to get this thing on the ground running, and they're probably as ready, if not more ready, to see this thing go than what we are. So
yeah, and this is your guys' first season really on the market, right?
Correct. Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, this is great. I'm excited to get. I think a lot of people think that the only option is some of the other A-frame styles, and those are a bit pricey. And like I think you were saying earlier, it's how many? What is it? 6 pieces is all?
Yeah, it's 6 pieces. Yep. It's when you get it out of the box to ship them, we had to cut the cross members in half to ship them. So when you get it out of the box, and you've already seen that, you just gotta slap the 2 pieces of cross members together, which then gives you your 6 pieces. But then we never, we always keep those cross members together whenever we carry them out in the field. We carry them out in 6 pieces. Actually, how we do it, we have a trailer all set up that we just, we walk that thing right in the trailer. We don't even take it down. So, it's 6 pieces. It goes in and sets up and tears down in just a few minutes, and it's lightweight and durable. And we're going to be rolling out some demo tests for it, and to show people how durable it is and how tough it stands to conditions, and throwing it around and beating it up a bit. And
it's been sitting in my backyard for 3 weeks now. So
yeah, good.
All up.
Well, hopefully it doesn't get stole.
Nah, I got a big old fence, so we're good.
Okay.
I don't think any of my neighbors would even know what that is. So, the hell is this guy got them? But yeah, okay. So I got some questions that I ask everybody.
Okay.
So, all right, you only get one more hunt. You only get to go hunting one more time in your life. Where are you going? Who are you going with? What are you shooting? What's the conditions like? Paint me a picture. You get to control everything.
Man, where am I going? I have always wanted to go out to Oregon to hunt out there, and shoot. I just hear that they get in a mess full of pintails, and lessers and whatnot. I'd probably be taking my dad, me, and Jordan. We'd be heading out to Oregon, shooting ducks and geese out there. That's something that I would love to do. That's on my bucket list for sure. Probably just a beautiful sunny day, some light wind, with the mountains in my backdrop, on a grassy plain somewhere. That's where I'm envisioning right now.
Awesome. What kind of gun do you shoot?
I shoot a Benelli, Super Black Eagle 2, and I like Benellis. That's all I've used. I've used a Nova until it got stolen, unfortunately, and now I upgraded to a Super Black Eagle 2, and I've been shooting that for I think 3 years now, and it's been a really good gun. I don't have much bad to say about it, except for the fact that, and you probably have heard about this, but the Benelli click.
Oh yeah, I shoot a pump, so
okay, yeah.
I avoid that.
Yeah, and it's a great gun, but it's a prima donna. At least mine is. It's a prima donna. If you get any grit, any dirt or sand in there, she wants to act up. So you really gotta make sure it's clean. And the action. If I get a new gun, it's going to be a Browning, just because I felt the action on the A5 and the Maxxis, and they're a lot tougher. They're not as loose as the Benelli.
Yeah.
And so you got to be careful, because if you brush that action up on, you bump it or something, it doesn't fire. And so
I can tell you've been talking to Jordan, talking about that Browning A5. I think he's got some sort of secret like underdeal with Browning, where he's just trying to push everybody to buy an A5. So
yeah, it's a great gun. They're great guns.
That'll be my next purchase.
Yep, so. Exactly. Yep,
got me too. So
yep.
All right, Hunter. I appreciate you coming on to the show, and why don't you go ahead and tell everybody where they can, get some of your guys' latest and greatest, and also catch up with you guys on Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, so our Facebook and Instagram page is just at HTR Innovations. Our YouTube is HTR Waterfowl. And so that's where our three main channels of social media are coming from. For this podcast, anybody listening, if they use promo code FOWL, they'll get 10% off an order of any product at our website, which is www.htrinnovations.com. And that's for our A-frame, any of our layout lounges, and our gun stand. So don't miss out on that.
Yeah. And, everybody's probably right now lining up their Christmas gifts that their wives are going to be buying for them.
Yeah.
So this is a perfect time to take advantage of that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll post a bunch of pictures and videos up of mine. I think I'm using it. I can't go duck hunting this weekend, unfortunately. I got to work. But I'll be using it the following weekend. I got a couple buddies. We're gonna put it right out on the shore.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
We're looking forward to it.
Yep.
So.
Awesome.
But all right. Well, hey, Hunter, thanks again. And I can't wait to see what you guys got coming up. And I can't wait to get out there and really break this thing in. And look forward to working with you in the future.
I appreciate the invite. It's been fun. And, yeah, make sure you put that thing to the test and let us know how it is. And hopefully we'll be in touch later this season.
All right. Sounds good. I want to give a huge shout out, like we always do during this time, to our partners. So we got Hunt Hickory Creek, which, if you're not familiar with Hunt Hickory Creek, that's Chase and Cody and Scotty and Megan. They're all in the group, and these are a good group of people. I talked to at least one of them, mostly Chase, at least 2 or 3 times a week. Whether it's deer hunting or talking about birds or just, rubbing in the fantasy football smack talk and all that stuff. Anyways, hey, don't put your money in something that you can't first validate or, like, get to know or, something like that. You can get in there. You can literally see what you're going to be getting out there in the blind with, these guys and these guides. So go check them out. Good people, even better people to go hunt with. So we've also got Dive Bomb Industries, and Dive Bomb Industries, they did a lot of good work for us and put a lot of our listeners into some really affordable spreads. And I am just pumped to get out and start targeting some big ducks with my spread that we're all set up with over here, and just really, excited to put the 2D, ideology to the test. So, all right, we've also got Toe Tags LLC. You guys heard Ryan's story, and if you haven't heard Ryan's story, go check it out. Episode 23. But anyways, just check out. Go look for the Toe Tags LLC story. Whether or not you want to argue that it is actually a regulation or an enforceable law or anything, I mean, the law is the law, and I'm not going to put myself in a position, at least anymore, to where I can be, whether or not I get a ticket is at the discretion of the, investigating officer or however things are going that day. So, just for a couple cents a day, or hunt, I should say, you can be fully taken care of. You already spent all the money on the gas and stuff. So, go tag your birds and make sure you're not throwing them in a big old pile. And, go ahead and stay legal with Toe Tags LLC. We've also got Gypsum Creek Retrievers. Evan over there in Gypsum with a creek running, through the back of his yard, is running a awesome little kennel. And I got to go out and I got to go hunt with his flagship dog, and got to see the way that he interacts with that dog, and just the way he talks about, you know, his business and his dogs and the dog he's training. Like it's really humbling to see a guy who's like so ate up with it and is just in it, and he's just doing it out of passion, and decided to make his passion something that can put, you know, dinner on the table. It's a heck of a deal. We've also got Athlon Optics. Athlon Optics, go check these guys out. They have some of the finest shooting scopes on the market, and their binoculars are bang up. Literally, they are the same quality as something that you'd pay 2 or 3 times the price of, and they're just a solid feeling binocular, and it's nice. You know, I'm not going to do any direct comparisons out there, but I've held a lot of binoculars in my time, and I'm very satisfied with these ones. So go check them out at Athlon Optics. I've got the Midas 10x42, and it is suiting my needs perfectly out here in Kansas. All right. Next, we've got Freelance Hunt Stats. I've always logged and tracked all the birds that we've harvested and whatnot, but it wasn't until Elliot showed me his Freelance Hunt Stats at freelancehuntstats.com that it's not just a journal anymore. Now it's a database. Now I can go through and I can filter all the stuff that I want to know. You know, windy days, cloudy days, days I shot all blue-winged teal, like things of that nature, and even by location. And it's super affordable. You know, just don't buy one Monster this month or one Starbucks coffee, and you've got yourself what you need to keep track. Plus, be super helpful when you go to fill out those HIP permits. So, all right. We've also got Duck Nuts. That's DUKNUTZ. And if you haven't seen the videos or pictures of me utilizing these things yet, I freaking hate dealing with Texas rigs, and I take out a lot of new hunters, and I'm always sitting there untangling stuff or unwrapping keels, and instead with these Duck Nuts, you just throw them on there, and all you gotta do is literally you just stretch out the line, or you can slide the weight all the way towards the decoy or down, and you just throw these things in a bag. It's awesome. Hey, they even came out with a carrying. It always seems that my wife is always walking in whenever I'm doing the Duck Nuts commercial, because she's just looking at me because she thinks it's hilarious. But they just came out with a bag, and it's called the Nut Sack, and it's pretty cool. You can strap your shotgun to it. They've also got hats too, and for my boy Wilson listening out there, Hunter over at Duck Nuts, he made a hat just for you, buddy, and all you other coot shooters out there. So, but yeah, so good stuff. Go check them out. Just a really great product. We've also got the DuckTech mobile app, and the DuckTech mobile app is an app that's designed to help you get better at calling ducks. It's got Barney Califf on there, a 2 or 3 time world duck calling champion, and he does the call, tells you what it's for, why to do it, when to do it, and then you can actually go in and press record yourself, and then you can hear it side by side, so you can see how you want to tweak it up. Pretty cool concept. A lot of times, you're just dealing with like a DVD or some other, like, here's the sounds, now make this sound. And that's not this right here. This is something that you can do on your commute. So, pretty sweet. All right, next we've got Gunner Kennels. And Gunner Kennels, if you have never laid your hands on a Gunner Kennel, probably some of the finest craftsmanship or example of overbuilding something. And that's perfect. That's fine with me. You know, my wife, she loves those things because it keeps the babies safe, the fur babies. And at the end of the day, you're kind of charged with the responsibility of that animal's life. And, you know, I wear my seatbelt. I don't text and drive. Why am I going to, just throw my dog in the back of the truck to, you know, be in jeopardy if something were to happen? And then newest partner that I'm super excited to get you guys into is HTR Innovations. That's HTR, like Hunter, Innovations. And they've got the coolest little thing. It's a stand that you can put out in the marsh that holds your gun, holds my recording equipment, box of shells, all this other stuff. Check it out on the Instagram page. They've also got an A-frame blind that they come out with that is super simple to set up. Just like stupid simple. And then they've got, for you guys that absolutely hate layout blinds, they've got a layout blind insert. And makes that thing just about as comfy as the living room couch. So go check them out. And then last but not least, we've got SRB field rests. So you hiked into this muddy field, set out all your decoys, had your bag ready to go with your gun in it, and then you take your gun out and you just set it in the mud, or you're constantly making sure that you don't fumble this thing around. These two little stakes from SRB Field Rests, stick them there, lay your gun down on them. You didn't come this far to jam your gun up with a little bit of mud because you got excited about some geese in your face. So that was really dramatic. I have a little bit of a stuffy nose, it sounds like, but all right. We just want to let you guys know these companies are the bee's knees. These are cool people, great people. I'm not just throwing them on here so that I can take up your time and make money or whatever it is. I believe in these products. I believe in these people, and I'm a huge fan of somebody turning their passion into their everyday job so that they can try to escape some sort of 9-to-5 where somebody else is their boss. And I'm a huge fan of that. Trying to do that myself. So, yep. Before, think twice before you buy something, similar to these. And, they help bring you this show. And so if you like this show, you like it to be around, check these people out. So, all right. Everybody, safe hunting.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Foul Front Waterfowl Podcast. Please come join us on our Facebook group, the Foul Front Waterfowl Podcast group, where you can connect with a good group of hunters, because we're all in this together. We need to act like it so that hopefully our great grandkids will be hunting ducks over our favorite public lands. We also ask that you go ahead and give us a written review on iTunes and give us 5 stars if you think we deserve it. And we really do want to hear back from you so that we can give you the best possible content. And if you get in on that Facebook group, you can get in there and you can ask questions and you can tell us what you want to hear next, or you can tell us what you don't like. And we'll be sure to tailor things to our listeners. So, all right. Stay safe out there, and we will see you next week.